Your brain rains nectar of immortality, and because we're not there to catch the rain, it just continuously falls down into the pit of fire that we have known as the Agni within our digestive system. Welcome back to the Blissful Athlete, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm really excited about today's video because we're going to be looking into one of the most overlooked aspects of yoga today, and that is the mudras. Not necessarily just to do with the hands either. If you stick around, I'm going to show you a few mudras that are absolutely amazing at awakening kundalini, and they have nothing to do with your hands. But first, if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the little bell icon down below so you do not miss out on the future videos that I release, and I promise you, you will not be regretting them, especially after you watch this video. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sri Nithyananda. I am an ordained Nithyananda Yoga Acharya by my guru, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam. Today, we're going to be talking about mudras, which are an incredibly important aspect of yoga, and that is why they are one of the 12 components of the yoga system. And in Nithyananda Yoga, we only practice yoga as per the scriptures tell us. So that means if the mudras are spoken about in the scriptures, in the Vedas, in the Agamas, in the Upanishads, by the enlightened masters or the rishis, the seers that have come before us, then we incorporate those into our practice. And that's why mudras are a part of each of the 108 asanas in the Nithyananda Yoga Prathama, Vinyasa, Krama, which just basically means first level sequence. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why you should be doing mudras, and if you aren't, you need to be. And we're going to be going over the exact mudras that we do in the 108 asana sequence. But before we jump into what all of those mudras are, we really need to understand the importance of mudras and why we should be doing them. And if we look to the scriptural references, there is Shastra pramana, meaning this is coming directly from Paramashiva himself, speaking on the importance of incorporating mudras into your practice, at how it awakens the kundalini through the Sushumna Nadi. And what Paramashiva says exactly in the Shiva Samhita, chapter 4, verse 14, therefore, in order that the goddess who is asleep in the mouth of the Brahmarandra, the innermost hollow of the Sushumna, be awakened, the mudras should be practiced with the greatest care. This means that we should be practicing mudras always. You should always be thinking about incorporating mudras into your yoga practice, because it is a direct method to awaken the kundalini and allow it to flow through the Sushumna Nadi. Now, if you don't know what the Sushumna Nadi is, think of your body like a stream of various different rivers, but you have one main river, just like in India, how it has the Ganga, the river that flows throughout the entire country. You have one main river known as the Sushumna Nadi. And in this river, or this Nadi, the Sushumna, that is the main channel for the Kundalini Shakti to flow up directly from the Muladhara chakra to the Sahasrara chakra and bring you to higher states of consciousness. So when we engage different mudras within our body, what we're doing is we're redirecting that energy back within us, because we continuously have outflows of energy. And again, I touched base on this in my most recent video, talking about pranayama and how we always have energy that's continuously flowing out of us. What we want to do is keep that prana, keep that life energy within us. And ways that we can do that is by sealing the blocks within us. And sometimes that's done with the fingers, with the mouth, and with other areas in the body. And again, if you stay tuned, I'm going to tell you all of those secret mudras that you probably haven't heard before, along with their scriptural references. So you know that this isn't just me making it up, it's actually a science to help you awaken your Kundalini Shakti, awaken the third eye, and get you to that higher state of consciousness, which I know you're probably wanting to do if you're watching this video. Now, mudras aren't just used for performing our yoga practices either. They're actually a form of approaching deities and invoking their energy within us as well. And that's why mudras are a part of our morning puja. So a part of my morning routine is offering daily puja. And during that time, during that ritual, we're offering Avahana Mudra, Stapana, Sannidhana, Nisthila Mudram, Patasya, Adakalakanti Mudram, Linga Mudram, Namaskar Mudram. All these different mudras are a part of the puja. So they're not necessarily just for your yoga practice. This is also for the ritual of puja as well. Now, with that being said, we're going to dive into the mudras, and we're going to start off with Bhujangani Mudra, the serpent mudra, which is one of my favorites because it's not necessarily something that you would have thought of. In Bhujangani Mudra, it actually has nothing to do with the hands. It has everything to do with your mouth. And what you're going to do is open up the mouth nice and wide, and then you're going to inhale air through the mouth, through the back of the throat. This is Bhujangani Mudra. And in the 108 Asana Sequence that we perform in the Prathama Vinyasa Krama, Bhujangani Mudra is performed, you guessed it, alongside Bhujangasana. Now, Bhujangani Mudra comes from the Granda Samhita, and in chapter 3, verse 93, it states that it destroys decay and death within the body. And this is my favorite part. By practicing this intensely, you become the supreme one, the one who has all the powers and goes beyond death. Now, the next two mudras we're going to be talking about do have something to do with the hands, and they are Anjali Mudra and Namaskar Mudra, which are basically the same mudra, right? Well, in the scriptural reference for Namaskar Mudra, it specifically says that Namaskar Mudra should be done in front of the chest or the heart, whereas Anjali Mudra, it does not say necessarily that it has to be done in front of the heart. And so Anjali Mudra is used in different asanas, such as Vrikshasana, when you're raising your hands above your head. And of course, you can be doing that in different positions also. But Namaskar Mudra is always done in front of the chest. Now, Namaskar Mudra is done in times where you're actually worshiping. So you're bringing your hands together in reverence towards something. And it actually specifically says that the mantra or a mantra should be chanted internally as well. So if you're having your hands in Namaskar Mudra, and for instance, I'm seeing my guru, I could bring on the Mahavakya. I could chant Om Nithyananda Yoga just by the sight of him and bringing my hands together in Namaskar Mudra. Now, the next mudra I'm going to be talking about is, of course, not Chin Mudra. I know it looks like Chin Mudra, but there's actually no scriptural reference specifically on Chin Mudra. In actuality, though, it is called Bindu Mudra when your hands are in such a position. So Bindu Mudra is one of those very deep, powerful, meditative positions where you can rest your hands, I know you can't see my knees, but on top of your knees when you're in the space of meditation. And this helps keeps that flow of energy within you circulating, keeping the prana, the life energy, moving within the body. And another mudra that works in a similar way is actually Prana Mudra, but rather than having the fingertips or the index and thumbs together, you're going to be bringing the pinkies and the ring finger together, and keep these two fingers, so you're not saying peace, you're bringing them together and extending them out, and that is Prana Mudra. So you could also be incorporating Prana Mudra as well, just as simply as you did Bindu Mudra. Now, I'm not going to dive into the actual aspects of what each finger does and how energy circulates a little bit differently, but all you need to know is that each finger is representing an element. So for instance, the thumb element is Agni or fire. The index finger is Vayu or air. Akasha is the middle finger, which is space. Prithvi, the ring finger, is earth, and Jala is the pinky, which is water. So each one of these fingertips is representing one of those elements, and depending on your dosha and how your body is circulating energy, you're going to be wanting to use a specific mudra over another. But for the time being, if you're watching this video and you feel like maybe you're a beginner to this, you really don't need to worry about that. Now, if you're one of those yogis that wants to improve the fortune in your life or increase the nourishment of your body, then you're going to want to do Padma Mudra. And Padma Mudra is the lotus. So Padmasana, we know it's lotus posture. When it comes to the mudra, Padma Mudra is when you bring your thumbs together and you spread out all of the fingers nice and wide, and you do not bring your pinkies together. In the scripture, it does not say anything about bringing the pinkies together. It only says to bring the thumbs together. Now you're going to spread your fingers out wide, and in the Prathama Vinyasa Krama, we do this during Suryasana. Now we could try and comprehend why some fingers are touching in certain mudras, but why they're not in others. And even I myself can't say definitively why some are and some aren't, but this is the importance of going to the scriptural references. So if you don't have the answer, or you don't have somebody in front of you that you can trust, and some random yogi is telling you to do this because he learned it from this guy who does really good breath retention, that's just not good sources. So what you should be doing is always coming back to the scriptural reference. Another one is Hridaya Mudra, where you're actually having your thumbs and pinky fingers not touching your chest. So in this, it's just my index, middle, and ring finger that are touching my chest, touching the heart center. And if somebody asks you, why are you doing Hridaya Mudra that way? Why is your thumb and pinky not touching? You don't need to justify that you know the answers, but in actuality, you could say this is an apta pramana. This is coming from the mudra vidanam, which means that an enlightened master has understood the science of mudras, of enlightenment, and it's understood that you should not have the pinkies and thumb touching your chest. So if you want to listen to an enlightened master, then don't do that. Another two mudras that come from the same scriptural reference are Sarva Vashankari Mudra, where you're going to bring your fingers from outside in, interlacing them, and then bringing the thumbs down as well, and holding it like this. And then a similar mudra is Parushu Mudra, where now you're going to be interlacing the fingers just like you normally would, let's say in Gomukhasana. Now this brings us to the mudra to experience immortality, and if you practice the Prathama Vinyasa Krama especially, you need to know the proper technique and how to perform this mudra, because you may be doing it wrong. Manduca Mudra is not when you press your tongue up against your mouth and rotate it around the mouth like this. That's not Manduca Mudra. The actual translation for Manduca Mudra is bringing the tongue and lifting it up against the roof of the mouth, like this. Okay? Pressing it as far back as you can, so you can taste the nectar of immortality dripping down from the Sahasrara chakra, the 1,000-petaled lotus. So just like frogs stick out their tongue really far to catch a fly, we want to practice catching the nectar of immortality that's dripping down. So just imagine, for instance, that your brain rains nectar of immortality, and because we're not there to catch the rain, it just continuously falls down into the pit of fire that we have known as the Agni within our digestive system. And unless you catch that nectar of immortality, it's going to just drip down into your body. So what we want to do is capture it and keep that energy, keep that nectar in our system. And the way to do that is through Manduca Mudra. The fruit of Manduca Mudra is the body is never in disease or becomes old, and it lives in the state of perpetual eternal youth, also known as Nitya Yovana. The one who practices it, his hair never ages into gray. Now a similar mudra to Manduca Mudra is Khechari Mudra, where you lift the tongue up and press it up against the hollow of the mouth. But in this mudra, you are specifically gazing up at the third eye as well. So you'll lift the tongue up, press it up against the roof of the mouth. Now before I close this off with the last three mudras, if you've enjoyed this video thus far, please give me a thumbs up and hit the bell icon when you subscribe, because that really does mean a lot and it does help this channel grow. And ultimately why that matters to me is because we're bringing authenticity back to the yoga practice. So if you're somebody that is truly appreciative of where yoga's come from and you want to bring the truth back out, that's really what this channel is about, and I'd really appreciate your support in doing so. And if you did subscribe and hit the bell icon, well, then I'm going to bless you with Vara Mudra. Vara Mudra is when you take your right hand and you open up the palm facing outwards and you have the fingertips pointed down, blessing those that are in its path. So blessings to you if you subscribe to the channel. If you didn't, then I take that back. All right, two more mudras and then we're done, and I've saved the best for last. For those of you who do not know, the ultimate mudra, the great mudra, is also known as the Mahamudra. And that is actually not just a mudra with the hands or the mouth. You're using your body, and it's actually an asana as well, Mahamudrasana. And in Mahamudrasana, you're going to bring one foot into the perineum and stick the opposite foot out straight. You're going to have your hands on your toes. You're going to engage all three bandhas, and you're going to lock and hold that asana. Now, this is one of the most powerful mudras. If you do this with sincerity, with integrity, as best you can, locking all three bandhas, you will experience an intense heat raising within you. You will experience kundalini Shakti awakening within you. I can guarantee that. If this is something that you have not yet done with full integrity and authenticity, then I highly recommend that you do this. Don't worry about your flexibility if you can't touch your toes. Just making sure that you engage all three bandhas properly. And if you don't know how to do that, then you can check out my most recent video speaking on the bandhas as well. And why I say this is because this is a Shastra pramana. This is coming directly from Paramashiva in the Shiva Samhita. And in chapter 4, it says, "My dearest, I shall now describe to you the Mahamudra, from whose knowledge the ancient sages Kapila and others obtained success in yoga." This means that other sages achieved enlightenment. They achieved self-realization, success in yoga because of this practice. If you continuously work on Mahamudra and you are doing it with authenticity, it is an incredible technique or tool to help you raise yourself to higher states of consciousness. And this brings us to our final mudra today, which is Shakti Chalan Mudra. And if you did not know, Shakti meaning power, this is the most incredible mudra, and it is done at the 108th asana of the Prathama Vinyasa Krama, which is Shavasana. And when you practice Shakti Chalan Mudra, in the Shiva Samhita it states, "Let the wise yogi forcibly and firmly draw up the goddess Kundali sleeping in the Adar lotus by means of the Apana Vayu." This is Shakti Chalan Mudra, the giver of all powers. And again, if you didn't watch my recent pranayama video, I highly recommend doing that, because the Prana Vayu is the downward flow of prana that's continuously flowing out of us. Shakti Chalan Mudra is keeping all of that beautiful, powerful life energy within us and blocking it from flowing out and pulling it up towards the Sahasrara chakra, and it is an incredible way to end your practice. And today I have the ability, thanks and blessings to my guru, just to play with my kundalini. So I can just shoot it up and down my spine whenever I please, and that is engaging Shakti Chalan Mudra. So if you ever want to get into a blissful state, you can do so through Shakti Chalan Mudra. I know without a doubt that if you incorporate these mudras, these techniques into your yoga practice, you're going to be experiencing Kundalini awakening. You're going to be experiencing doses of bliss like you have not been before in your yoga practice. So I definitely recommend beginning incorporating all of these immediately. And yes, one last call to action. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Leave me a comment down below. Also, let me know what you thought of the video. I'd love to hear your feedback. And if you're not yet following me on Instagram, check out my handle Blissful Athlete, where you can follow me in my day-to-day life, incorporating all of these yogic techniques that I've been blessed with by my guru. So thank you very much for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you on the next video. As always, be blissful. Nithyananda.